watching this video, that means you probably have a Lakota or a Bayou, or I think there's a third one that uses this 300 engine. Can't quite remember, but either way, either you need a top end or you just like four-wheeler content. But either way, I appreciate you being here. This is a 2001 Lakota Sport. These are 300cc 5-speed, semi-automatic, so no clutch, but you still have to shift with reverse. These engines are great. I've had a couple Bayou 220s, and they scoot. These ones are chain driven, and then obviously A-arm front because it's a sport. So, but no start. I picked it up, and I've determined that it has no compression. Has good spark though, and so we'll be doing a top end and revitalizing this thing a little bit. Let's get this thing up in the air and get going. Okay, all the plastics are off. So this was worked on prior to me buying it. Took it to a friend of his that knew what he was doing, and they threw a new carburetor on it. I asked for the OE one. They didn't have it. I guess they threw it away. Then it's also missing the snorkel tube to go from the airbox to the carburetor. So I had to buy a new one, 45 bucks. He gave me all of the, like a new CDI box, new coil, everything like that. And it's like, but it had spark. I mean, if you thought it was timing, that's a mechanical timing, not electronic. Either way, this thing has no compression. Cranks over really nice, unfortunately. Even with a little bit of ether, it didn't pipe off. It's got like 3 pounds of compression, but decomp does work on it for the pull start. So I was able to hear that it had lesser compression with that pulled, which it's supposed to. But you know, looking at this, I don't know if I can do this in frame or not. I might have to pull this whole freaking engine. From what I just found, you can do it on the bike, so we're gonna try and hope for the best. That head is just very large to come up, but maybe you just got to pull it up just slightly and you can slide it out. But we're going to figure it out together. Definitely going to have to remove that the top engine mount there. But really, a lot of Phillips. They all look correct, and there's multiple of them, so I think those are the right bolts for all the air box. So that's kind of nice, but get that all cleared out and you actually can access this thing pretty easy. You don't even have this much room on a Warrior or anything. So what I'm going to do now, 8mm here, take that timing cover off, 10mm here, get this tensioner out of there, and pop that, and then start working on taking off the head there. Tip, wash it first. This thing is extremely dusty. I should have taken it by the car wash, but I didn't. But 12mm, we'll get the that top mount taken out and get it out of there. Exhaust still needs to come off. And is there an oil line? Nope. So then the head should be ready. Really clean inside of here, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. And keep going. I broke off both exhaust studs, so I'm gonna have to weld those out. I don't think this has been off in several years. If your exhaust is ever stuck, try to bend some of these fins up, get some lubricant down in there, and just start working her back and forth until she tries to slide out. I tried taking the whole thing off, but it's real tight right here along the frame. This is a Super Trap exhaust. It's real tight there along the frame, so it couldn't scoot in, so it had to be separated. Anyways, have to weld those out. Not a big deal. Yeah, I tried looking them up, and it kept showing a car part number, so maybe I can just get some ones for like a Subaru Forester or something it said. But let's start working on this head. It looks like 14mm. Them guys there, maybe those are 12s. I think they're 14s. And then 2 10s on the other side. Should come out. Well, got the head bolts out. These 2 front ones will come up right here as it sits in there, but these 2 back ones will hit this crossbar. So just pop the head loose, tilt it back a little bit, and then you're able to pull them up right there. Going in, I'll have to remember that and try to throw them back down. The Warrior is kind of the same way. Might be fighting a timing guide, or I'm sorry, timing chain guide we'll just have to see here in a second. So yeah, I have to fight these timing guides just a little bit. I just pinched them together and the whole head slid off backwards. But it looks good. I was worried about a valve being broken or chipped, but I don't see anything, so that's real good. Well, there's all that scoring and stuff. Oh wow, yeah, it grabbed a lot. That's pretty. I can feel all of that. Looks like probably a piston ring broke. Did some damage there. I'll get it pulled off and continue our inspection. But it's actually pretty clean. So it's kind of a shame that this thing blew the top end. Ooh. Yep, that would be no compression right there. So I don't know if, yeah, like I said, I think a piston ring broke and then maybe got lodged. That could be the only thing I think of. But same thing there. So new top end, but I did use a borescope to check it out, and I saw all of that. So not a really surprise there. Be pretty quick fix. The front timing chain guide pulls right out. It just kind of sits down in place, and then this one is bolted here on the stator side. Chain looks in really good shape. Gonna go ahead. Oh wow, the intake's actually really clean. Clean up the face of those valves, and then pull those covers and do the valve seals while I got it out as well. Okay, I got the mounting surface all cleaned up. I just take a regular old razor blade and run it along there, then take a nylon wire wheel and just clean up the rest of the edges. As long as you don't have any large debris like that, I'm going to have to clean that up. As long as you don't have any large debris, everything's clean, it'll seal. So new cylinder and piston are back in. I did write my initials in the date there on both the piston and the top end, kind of where the head would go, to kind of sandwich that in case somebody's tearing back into it and wants to know when it was done, if it's still going to be legible or not, excuse me. So yeah, when it comes to the clock in your piston rings, just make sure they're not lined up. About 90 to 120 degrees apart from each other. And yeah, the ring gap was a little tight, in my opinion, for this. I was close to like 0.003, which is technically within spec, a little tighter than I would like, but is what it is. It seems to go up and down just fine. All right, welcome back, guys. I know you guys didn't go anywhere, but I did. This is day 2. I cannot get those exhaust studs out to save the life of me at all. They seem to be some type of hardened steel. I cannot get it. My welder is not grabbing that bolt, nor that one. So I went through like 20 bolts, or I'm sorry, nuts, to get those out. Couldn't do it. However, I did stop trying. Machine shop would be my next step. Due to, I found an entire engine on Facebook a couple weeks ago for $50, just in the next town over from me. So I went and grabbed it. It is missing its studs, but the threads are still there. So I went and grabbed these bolts, and most likely what I will do is cut off the heads and make these the new studs. I did look up replacement ones, and they're literally just all thread. There must be nothing special about them. Sometimes the threads are different for the head than the actual bolt part. Either way, this head appeared that it was burning oil. It's definitely dirtier than this one, but definitely wanted to change out these valve seals because I don't know the condition of this engine at all. Really, I don't know that one either, but this one definitely burned oil. Has been rebuilt before. I played hell getting out the rocker shaft here. So what I ended up having to do, now in the 300s, they're just pressed in. They're not threaded in like the 250s or 220s. So I took a large screwdriver, hit the end of it to shove it in, and then I actually heated up the aluminum to get some more free play. And as long as it spins, I just slowly kind of gave tension on it to pull it out, and that one came out. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. All right, you'll have to excuse the background noise, but pretty much once I could start getting it 360, I just started pulling up, and this one's actually coming out a lot easier. So you can see there how kind of gummed up it is. She's a little rough. I think she's been rebuilt before, so I'll clean it up before it goes back in. So let's get these valves off, get these new seals on so I can go back together. Okay, so got that all cleaned up, and all that was just a wire wheel. It goes inside. It doesn't hit the seat at all. It just goes inside, cleans up all that carbon. Then that is after I lapped the valves there. Got it all cleaned up. That seat looks nice. I'm going to take a pick and just try to clean that away. But other than that, I'll clean this up and put it back together. Alright, day 3, unfortunately for me. The head, got the valves all lapped, new seals, everything like that. Got this back on. Timing, you want to line up that little window there with the T. I'm a little bit forward. I did already spin it over to confirm. And then depending on what engine you have, they all use the same timing gear. So this is the LF300, and you want to line it up with that little dot there. Again, I'm forward, so it all matches. It sounds like it's got good compression. Need to put the timing chain tensioner on and then button her up. And then we're going to be installing some goodies that kind of go like right here and like right here. Guys, well, here's that first start video. It has been running. It's been a process, guys. This is probably going on over 2 weeks now. The timing, it wanted it about a tooth or two retarded. That intake just seemed to be blowing it out. And then the carburetor, I just assumed it was brand new, but I think it's been on there and laying out in the elements for so long. I ended up spraying gas through the carburetor to finally get it to fire. I've been playing hell, guys. Anyways, I finally got it started, and this button is very touchy, but that won't work. God dang it. Come on. I might be running a tad rich. I can't tell if that's just rust dust, but it looked a little black up against the white door there. So I might be running titch rich. I turned the fuel air mixture out to 3 turns, which is on the upper end. I just didn't know with the Super Trap exhaust, it does need rejetted, but it's seemingly a little rich, so I'll turn that back in. It does have a bit of an exhaust leak. I think there's another gasket that's supposed to be in there. I'm going to try to find one. So yeah. Oh man, I'll tell you what, guys, this one, I have never wanted a 4-wheeler done so bad. Not to ride, just to be done with it so I don't have to work on it anymore. This thing has been a pain in the butt. It really has. Anyways, I'm going to go car wash, clean up this engine, get that gasket in, and then we're finally going to get to sprucing this thing up, and still got to paint the rest of the muffler. Obviously, I did paint that header there. paint the rest of the exhaust, or at least the pipe part, just clean that part up. I think I finally got it. I did go ahead and wash it. Unfortunately, the stickers came off and they're unattainable, but I did recover the seat. That's just like a $30 seat cover from Amazon, and she's a little loose right here, but maybe I can pull that and re-staple it before I actually get her set on there. But we're going to go for a test drive. It seems that it has power. I had to play with the timing again. It would run, but I had to have the throttle pulled quite a bit, to the point where when I pressed on the gas, well, it really didn't have any power to move on its own, especially with that centrifugal clutch. But I think I got her. Let's go for a test ride and see what happens. And it should come to a stop and stay running, just like that. Well, that wasn't too bad, I'll be honest with you. I've never ridden one of these, so I don't know if that's fully how it's supposed to be or not. But it seemed to have plenty of power. Centrifugal clutches can be a little bit strange if you're used to a manual where you're used to that automatic power, where this one you have to kind of get those initial RPMs up to get it moving again. It seems okay. So I think it was 5th gear there where it just kind of, it seemed like a very tall gear. Again, never ridden one, so I don't really know, but everything else seemed fine. It's real weird shifting without a clutch. Just, you know, trying to get that full, like, you know, leg pull to shift it properly. I want to really yank it, but the throw on it's not very long. But I'm going to say that it's good to go. Let's get kind of everything bolted back on and make it look like a quad again. All right, I got the front plastics back on. I did try buffing them, and they definitely look a lot more blue in the video than they actually do. But too much oxidization for how I normally do it. I just take 3000 grit wet sandpaper and like back to black plastic restore. Typically it works. I mean, it definitely looks a lot better in the camera for some reason. You can kind of see where the sticker was there and then where that one was. Either way, they're going to need heat. So essentially a buff to heat them back up to deoxidize them. Got the exhaust on there, got rid of the exhaust leak, got it painted, started cleaning up the super trap since it's aluminum. I have some aluminum acid that cleans it up real well. I had some Nerf bars here, and they were literally the only set on eBay when I was looking for heel guards. But I don't know what you do about the brake because they need to go more in. Oh shoot. Or is that okay? Hold on. No, I don't. These are used, and I mean, you can see that it rode right in the middle, but I don't know what you would do with your brake. So these nets are pretty weak as well. The other side already broke off just by taking it out of the package. So probably just say I have them and they're welcome to them. I tried to look up pictures of other Lakotas with Nerf bars and didn't see any. I know they're not that common. I think they only made them for a few years. But either way, gonna need to do the rear brakes and paint these wheels. They are steel, so I'll clean those up and paint them to look nice, and I'll show you how I do that. All right, I got the caliper off, and you might be thinking, man, that looks like a new caliper. Nope, that's that acid cleaner I use. Does great with calipers. Obviously, they're aluminum, but it looks like the slide pins were stuck. See how there's still meat on the inside pad, but not the outside? That's pretty indicative of the slides. When you release, it's still sticking and wearing it down. And I mean, they're crispy. Hopefully I can get that piston pressed back in. But clean those up, get some grease on them, put the new ones in. Still had a back brake. Obviously, it was just heating that rotor up. And just like that, depressed, lubricated, back together, and put this weird carriage bolt thing. Not sure why they thought it needed that, but whatever, it does. And then 2 12 millimeters, and then you might have a parking brake right here. This one's already been eliminated. All right, so painting wheels. This really just applies to steel wheels, because if you paint aluminum, it's going to chip off. So these are steel. I like to either tape off the valve stem, or if it's got one of these kind of like metal sleeves that's for rigidity, I do leave that on there because they wipe off a lot easier. But since it's steel, got a little bit of kind of rust, just a wire wheel. So I'm gonna keep doing that. Really, what you want to do is just knock off all the surface rust and scuff it up so the paint has something to stick to. All right, then give it a good wipe down. Sorry about the wind. Good wipe down, and then hit them with some paint. Let me keep repeating that process. All right, so I actually just did the front brakes as well, and now time to address this thing. This is the definition of if you can't weld, weld a lot. This is bubblegum central, and even the welding wire is still there. They didn't even clip it. Like, this is a winch plate. So I will be hacking that hack job off. Oh, I think they even got it level with that plate in there, so that's cool. That's cool. Highly doubt they ever towed anything with that, or pulled anything out, that is. Hopefully I can just take the Sawzall and take those off. Hit that one time, break that weld, and it'll pop off, and then I can grind it down. Well, the goal was to cut that back weld off and then whack this one with a hammer, but 2 good whacks and that one's just came off. No penetration. Just like that. I figured those were the 2 best points, I guess I'd say. Disgusting. Well, the real sad part is I didn't even get out the grinder. I just hit it with a hammer and then air chisel, and pretty much knocked off almost all the weld. I wish I had some color match spray paint for that, but I don't. The only gray I have is like aluminum, and it looks chrome, so that will just have to be how it looks, unfortunately. All right, home stretch. And there it is, guys. Sorry about the wind, but we took this and turned it into that. It really cleaned up well. Took me a lot longer than I'd like. It starts good, rolls good, and brakes good. Very happy about this one. Hopefully it sells quick. That's what we can always hope for. That's going to do it for this one, guys. If you like this video, if you stay to the end, sorry I'm jumping all over the place, but please hit like, share it, subscribe to me, all that good stuff. If you're really trying to put out some quality videos this spring and summer, maybe a couple riding videos, see what happens. Hopefully this helped you. Have a good one. Always remember, keep between the dishes, unless that's where you tend to go.